Good news, folks. You've made it. You are born into the very best time to be alive. We have Amazon, we have air conditioning, we have all the things. Our ancestors would be flipping out if they knew how easy we had it. This is the cutting edge of comfort. So if we've got what we want, if this is what we're after, then why is this a thing? Yep, that is a thing. Since 2010, an estimated 10 million people have willingly paid upwards of $200 on weekends to suffer through ice, fire, electricity, barbed wire, tear gas, yes, tear gas, hashtag white privilege, mud, and more. So it's crazy, and you gotta wonder, like, who are these people? Let me introduce you to two of them. This is Ed Gamester. He's a blogger and musician from London. And here he is, dazed and confused and very, very cold on a mountaintop in Lake Tahoe. Factor in his plane ticket, he paid $1,500 for this. This is Mari Zaragoza. She's a marketing professional and mother of 3. And here she is being dragged through more than 10,000 volts of electricity. The most shocking part is it isn't her first Tough Mudder, and it won't be her last. Now, Ed. Obviously, Ed would be the kind of guy that does something like this. I mean, look at him. He's a bit of a nut. But Mari? 5 years ago, there is no possible way she could have envisioned a scenario in which she'd be crawling under barbed wire or willingly electrocuting herself. So, what's happening here? Why are people running towards the very thing we've been trying to avoid for millennia? That question is at the heart of a feature documentary I made called Rise of the Sufferfests. The film explores the history of the sport, psychology behind it, the personalities that drive it, and it asks what it says about the world we're living in. And it also follows my painful journey through the mud. So what got me into this? Well, my entry point, and the same for a lot of people, was narcissism. I wanted an epic profile pic, and hurtling through space, all muddy, it certainly provides an opportunity for that. I also like the idea of branding myself as tough because there aren't very many people in my life who would have done that for me. And I like writing humor essays, and I figured the one about a self-proclaimed beta male peeling himself off the couch, training up, and tackling a paramilitary assault course would make for funny material. Fortunately, our local Alt Weekly agreed, and they put that essay on the cover. So, what's happening here? What is going on? Why are we doing these things? Well, our consumer culture is one of the big factors. We have all the things, we have so many things. We are suffocating with stuff. And there's a growing body of research that suggests that material things, the things we are buying, are not making us happy. In fact, materialistic consumerism is leading to greater levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. At the same time, there's a growing awareness that in the value of experiences. Experiences appreciate in value over time. Let's take your iPhone, for example. You get a new iPhone. It's the latest and greatest. You have all the new features. You're super excited. You talk to your friends about it. You play with it for a week or two, and then what happens after like a month? Meh. It just fades into the background of your life. It's another piece of furniture. Experiences, on the other hand, particularly painful experiences like you would find at a Tough Mudder or a Spartan race, well, those things appreciate and value. They last because you have a story to share with people for the rest of your life. And in a society in which comfort is king, the story about you braving a 38-foot cliff to jump into freezing cold water, well, that has a lot of value. Comfort is good. Comfort is what we want. And if you want to become rich in this world, identify a pain point and eliminate it, even a minor inconvenience. But there is too much of a good thing. The real satisfaction in life comes from facing hard challenges, from exercising our skills, expanding our talents, struggling and overcoming these challenges. And if we push everything onto machines, if we automate everything and remove all the obstacles from our life, which is what Silicon Valley wants to do, well, we deprive ourselves from the satisfaction and confidence that comes with accomplishment. And that's of particular concern to men in today's society, and one of the driving factors behind the so-called masculinity crisis. There aren't many opportunities for men to feel like men in today's world. We don't have to hunt. We don't have to forage for food. We don't have to build shelters. We don't have to lift heavy things. We don't have to defend our tribe. War is something that used to be inevitable, and now we just live vicariously through television, through media, and security is something we have outsourced to police forces. Personally, I don't know how to throw a punch without breaking my wrist or maybe my thumb, and I don't know how to safely swing an axe. And, why would I want to? Why bother going through the effort and struggle of chopping firewood when I could just push a button and voila? Well, on the flip side of that is, these are the kinds of things that gave men a sense of purpose and meaning. These are the things that we always used to have to do. And I think there are a lot of men in today's society who are wondering what it means to be a man. And Sufferfests have filled a sort of void for people. It gives you a chance to feel like Rambo. You get to play army in this safe, controlled environment. And best of all, you get to do it with a lot of people, which is very, very important in today's screen-saturated society. The great irony of social media is that it's not that social. There's a lot of benefits to this medium, of course, but ultimately, when we spend so much time interacting with each other and the world through screens, there are some consequences. Over the past 50 or 60 years, we've seen a cultural shift, one that celebrates the individual over the group. People are not joining groups as much, they're not engaging in civic affairs or working with their communities, and the self-focus has also linked to rising rates of narcissism. This isn't to say our ability to help others or empathize has gone away. It is hardwired. I think you need to look no further than recent tragedies here in Sonoma County or wherever tragedy falls. Communities band together, they work together selflessly, generously, but it's not a muscle that we have to exercise very often, fortunately. However, I think there's some value to it. There is some value to struggling with people, to banding together, and Sufferfest with their, these obstacles are designed in a way that you have to work with strangers to get over some of these walls or to conquer them. And that fosters a sense of connection, community, camaraderie, empathy that we're missing in today's society. It's also a fun way for people to get off the couch and a good excuse to train up, which is important in an era of the obesity epidemic. If you think about how we used to live, we were always on our feet. We hunted, we farmed, we foraged, we were moving around. And nowadays, we sit. We're living in the most sedentary era in human history. And our access to cheap, sugary foods has never been easier. So there are a lot of health consequences that come with this, and we are really not living our biological destiny. We were designed to run, to jump, to crawl, to climb, to swim, and most of us spend much of our day moving from one seat to the next on our way back to our beds at night. So you can dismiss the obstacle race phenomenon as a bunch of lunatics trying to get their fix, some little thrill. But I think there's something much bigger happening here. I feel like it's a symptom of a civilization that's out of step with our biological destiny. And though these events maybe speak to personal and social deficits, I think that they have the ability to fill them, to cure them. Sufferfest, to me, through my personal experience, are a symptom of a society as well as an antidote. And so I don't know how many of you here are willing to take the plunge with us, but what do you say? I think everyone here should give it a shot, should sign up, and as unappealing as getting shocked by 10,000 volts may sound and feel, it will be totally worth it. So sign up, embrace the suck, and suffer up.